Van Gogh, of course, had a very short career generally. From the moment when he arrived in Paris at the beginning of 1886 till the end of his career, which is when he died in 1890, is obviously only 4 years. So it's really, for us to focus on the 2 years while he was in Paris, makes perfect sense to show the incredible change we saw from all he'd learnt in Holland, but the incredible things he learned about colour when he arrived in Paris until the time when he left to go to Arles in the south of France, when of course he became one of the most expressive colourists in the 19th century. And the reason why we chose this to create a show around this as a subject is not just Van Gogh. I mean, Van Gogh was obviously one of the most important artists to come out of that period, but it's in a remarkable time when you had many different styles and techniques and movements emanating from all that was going on in Paris at the time. So you had, for example, you had the Neo-Impressionists, perhaps better well known as the Pointillists, led by Seurat and Signac. You had the Impressionists, of course. They were already quite established, but Van Gogh had his brother living in Paris, and who was an art dealer running a gallery called Bousset-Valadon, and he was selling works by the Impressionists, including Monet. And we have a painting actually by Monet that was actually in the gallery, and so we're pretty sure that he probably would have seen it at the time. And you also had the Cloissonists. That's a group of artists who focused on flat handling of colour with very strong dark outlines, and that's artists like Louis Anquetin and Émile Bernard, and that was a style that also was adapted by Paul Gauguin. Of course, that's a very famous friendship which really started when Gauguin came back from Pont-Aven in November of 1886, and they developed a friendship which really didn't develop properly until Gauguin joined him when he was asked to accompany him to the studio of the South in the autumn of 1888. And of course we know the consequences of that visit which resulted in Gauguin leaving and Van Gogh cutting off part of his ear. It was very easy to choose the artists because there are sort of clear records of the artists that he knew, partly from accounts in his letters to his family. He was obviously living with Theo, so even though his letters are an extremely good account of his entire career, it was the friendships that he formed. A key friendship was Toulouse-Lautrec, and we have 2 works by him in the show. He was in the same studio as Van Gogh, the studio of Fernand Cormont, not a particularly well-known artist, but that's where the 2 of them met. And every Tuesday night, Toulouse-Lautrec would have these soirées where he would invite artistic figures, people in the music world, all manner of professions, and obviously people from the underworld of Montmartre, and they often turned into quite bawdy affairs. Van Gogh himself would arrive with a painting that he would lean either against the wall or on a chair and ask the fellow guests to sort of comment, act as sort of critics to him. So he was not particularly confident, and that was, for him, it was a better form of companion to take with him.